Hello everyone, this is Robert, 50 Years Chess. I just want to let you know here in Bristol, England, we're experiencing a heat wave today. It's very, very strong, and it's really, really hot here. I guess a lot of people are experiencing the same in various parts of the world. My son's in London today, and that's the hottest place to be in England. So it's over 100 degrees there, I believe. So I want to thank everyone who's been watching the videos and enjoy watching them at least. And thank you for staying with it and watching the games. I hope there's something there for you, something that you can take encouragement from, and maybe learn a few tricks that I might show you now and again. This is a game that I really want to share with you because this guy, Goran Marjanovic, this is the third time we played now, and in the last two games I lost one on time narrowly and lost the other one very narrowly. So he's managed to win two games against me, so I'm really looking forward to when I played him to try and get a game. I was quite determined, but he is a good player. So he has a rating of 1443. That's Federation Master Strength, though he doesn't have the title yet. So he's decent, very decent. Now, he's playing white in this game. I've got no real information about him other than that he was born in Serbia. He's a Serbian person, and he's been on chess, arena chess a while, and he's doing very well. So let's have a look at the game. He's playing white, and he played c4, which is the English opening. e6, d4. So now we're into the Queen's Gambit. He played the exchange variation, pawn takes pawn, e3. So bishop d6, a3, bishop f4. I've got all my bishops out. As the Steinitz rule of playing the opening and basically getting your pieces out and everything. Bishop's 4 knight is the golden rule, apparently. Knight c3, c6 to protect that d pawn. Bishop d3. So we swap that off because I can't move it away. Queen out to g5 to attack the g pawn on g2. g3, so that's weakening around the white squares a little bit, but I don't have a white square bishop, so it's difficult to take advantage of that. So I went back to g6. The reason for doing this is I want to get the queens off and get them into an endgame, and it'd make it difficult for him to castle queen side with my rook bearing down on the h2. So he took the queen, retook the pawn, knight f3, knight d7, e4, de, knight takes e, drop the bishop back to e7. So therefore I've got the c5 and g5 squares covered with my bishop if he tries to advance still. Now he's gone bishop e3, and I've thrown in f5 to move that knight immediately, and he's gone out to g5, swapped it off, king e7, castle queenside, knight b6, h4 to cement the knight there, knight f6, rook h to e1 with a discovered check behind the bishop, so I have to move my king or cover that square, which is what I did. So he's gone back knight to h3 because he wants now to come into f4 and attack the g6 pawn. And the knight on that square is very good. You can keep it there for a while. So I played king f7 covering that pawn, and he's played the bishop back. So swap off again, rook takes rook, get the other rook across, knight into G5 check, king back to F8, and then he's gone bishop to B4 check. This is very difficult for me, but fortunately I've got a knight covering the rook, so I'm alright. Rook takes rook, knight takes rook, and he's played F3. So, apart from the double pawn, we've got an even game. I've now gone in knight into D5, attacking that bishop, and he's gone back to D2. Now I brought the other knight out, and that's better for me now. They were both defensive, but now they're in a more offensive position. He's gone in knight to E6. Now I know what he's going to do here. He wants to play knight into D8, attacking both the B7 pawn. If I move it, he will take the C6 pawn. So I have to compensate for that. And I played my knight back to E8, stopping him from going in there. And he's played his knight back because he's hoping that I'm going to move that pawn, and then he takes the other one. I move the knight into D6, and now I don't have to move either pawn. So he's played G4. He'd like me to take that, so then I've got 3 pawns, but he had to retake. So 5 pawns against 5 pawns. 2 knights against knight and a bishop. I'd say he had a slight advantage, not much. So now I'm moving my king into the game a bit more by coming king to F8. B4. Knight to F6, attacking the G pawn. And he moved it up. And so I came in now attacking the bishop. Knight check on E6. King F7. Knight C5. So he wants to swap the knight. And knight takes knight. He's taken with the D pawn. And I drop my knight into C4. So I'm now attacking his A pawn. And he's pushed it up. So, and that becomes my king. So after he's played A4, I've played king E6. Now, he can attack the G8 pawn with his bishop, but I can drop the knight back to E5, so he can get it. So he's gone B5. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. I'm suddenly looking really good now. I can win those pawns on the king side. If I go in king to D5, it's looking very, very good for me. Yeah, it's king D5, and he's protecting it with the bishop. So now I've brought my knight back, so I can go knight into E5 and then drop it to F3 and pick up the H pawn. So he's pushed on to swap off this pawn. C6, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, king takes pawn. Right, so now he's gone bishop to F8. This will get him the G pawn on G7, but I can pick up his H pawn. Bishop takes pawn, knight takes pawn, bishop back to D4. So I've got 2 pawns to his 1. Personally, I think this is drawn because both pawning squares for me are A1 and G1, and he's got a black square bishop. So unless I add the 2 both up on A2 and G2, threatening to queen with one or the other, then I can't see how I can do it. But I push my A pawn at A5, I push my A pawn to A5. He's dropped bishop back, attacking the knight on C2. Now my knight's attacking his pawn on G5. And at this point, Goran resigned. Not sure why, because I think he might have been able to hold out for a draw here. if we look at this situation, I think I could move my king to d5. He could go king b2, king e4, bishop back to c8, king to f5, and that would win me the pawn. But he can get that a pawn with his king, and then it's down to whether I can get my pawn home on g1, because a knight on its own against a king and a knight is drawn. So the only way I can do that is if I can get my king on the pawn, g pawn, down to g2, my king onto g3, and my knight on f2, which would shield the pawn. So when I push the pawn on, he can't take it. That's the only way I can win this. King there, king up, king down, king up, knight takes pawn, king takes pawn, and then knight in here, king here, knight, king, move the pawn, shielding the pawn, and he can't be careful where he moves his king, so we'll say he goes there. And I go in front, and he then moves the king, then I go down here, and he moves the king there, and that's the problem I have, because he's getting near the king. He takes the pawn, so I would then have to go back, and yeah, it's a drawn game. I'm sure it's a drawn game. I'm not sure why he resigned, but he didn't have much time left, mind. He only had about a minute, and I had about 3 or 4 minutes, so maybe he didn't think he could hold on in that time. So there we are, that's the end of the game. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game, and I'll bring you another game very soon. Thank you. Have a good day. Over.